Welcome to the Empower Her Wellness Podcast. I'm Morgan, and I'm thrilled to be your host and wellness coach as we navigate the path to a healthier, more confident you. As the owner of Get Fit With Me, I bring years of experience in personal training, nutrition, and coaching to each episode. Join me as we explore practical tips and strategies for fitness, nutrition, mindset, and more, all tailored for busy women just like you. Let's empower your wellness journey and achieve lasting transformation together. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to an episode of the Empower Her Wellness Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Morgan Ekovich. And remember, the podcast is for women who are looking to feel empowered, confident, and really just have a great community of women around them to help them feel better in all areas of their life, not just health and wellness, not just nutrition, but in meditation and mindset, which we're going to dive into today, in travel, in just being independent as women. And so often we feel like we're taking care of everyone else. So today we have a special guest joining us to talk about mindset, meditation, and she's actually going to take us through some strategies that we can use on this episode or as soon as we get off of this episode that you can help to relax your body, to help calm you. So, Tamara Glenn, thank you for being with us today. Super excited to have you.
Hi there. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. So, can you give a little bit of background? I know we met through a networking group, and funny enough, her son and I actually went to school together. We found this small connection, but can you give us a little bit of background into kind of who you are, your business, and you've got an in person location. So, where you're located so local people can find you?
Sure. I'm Tamara Glenn. I'm currently a certified meditation and mindfulness teacher. And my studio is located in downtown Mason, right across from the courthouse, above the commercial bank. And I do several things now. I teach, I have private instruction, one-on-one via in person here at the studio or Zoom. I am a Reiki master of 13 years, so I do Reiki healing sessions up here. And many times when I'm working with clients, we do both. And I also am a group fitness instructor at the Michigan Athletic Club, so I teach 2 classes there in case anyone's a member there. I also love to do weekend retreats. I've done several up north and then some down here. And recently I've incorporated some mini retreats, which have been really successful. And those are for 3 hours once a month at the studio. And I also, starting this weekend, I'm really excited. I'm offering free meditations in the park. And I got approval through the city. And so it's a great way for everyone to be introduced to meditation. And we'll be out in nature. I've been promoting it, saying that it's weather permitting, but I'm hopeful that, we'll be able to wing it either way, unless there's a tornado warning or something. So it's 10 to 10:30 every Saturday morning at Leyland Park, right here in town. So I'm excited about that. I want to introduce meditation and mindfulness practices to as many people as possible.
That's awesome. So, how long have you had your studio in Mason, and what got you into doing this work? Because I think a lot of times we think we don't have time for it, and you've obviously made a career out of it. So, what got you into this line of work?
I want to add one more thing I do, mindfulness in the workplace. So it segues into what I want to talk about because I was a financial advisor for 25 years and I was a bank vice president. I was thick in the corporate environment and it's a very high pressure, very stressful career. And I loved it. I was out doing that thing, grinding away. And over time, it started to affect me. I ended up long-term stress like that accumulates. And I started having problems sleeping and feeling just really stressed all the time. And I discovered accidentally through an auto accident meditation. I discovered it. I was involved in an automobile accident in 2010 where a drunk driver crossed over the line and struck the vehicle I was in. And thankfully, we both survived. And I was forced to be still. I had injured my left knee and right ankle, and I had required surgery on both limbs. So I was forced to be still for the first time in my life. And I continued to work through it. But I also realized how much I was not able to sit still. And a friend reached out and said that she was teaching meditation and asked if I would be interested. And I thought, wow, maybe this is a sign I probably need to do this. So I started working with her. And I remember during my first meditation experience, I meditated for 30 minutes in silence. And I discovered how disconnected my body parts felt from each other and how disconnected I felt from my soul. I was amazed at what I was feeling, and it caused me to just really want to dig deeper and explore this. So I began my practice back then, and I continued to meditate. And the times in my life where I didn't meditate or I went off from my practice or strayed from it, I noticed my life didn't end up so well. I made some choices that I later regretted, and meditation's always kept me centered. So people around me at work would say things like, wow, you seem more calm, or you seem different. And what happens is you become better able to respond rather than react. Meditation truly can change the structures of your brain. And people would ask me, can you teach me how to meditate? And I'm like, I just do it. I don't know how to teach you.
It's just
Sometimes I
second
would
nature at this point.
exactly. And sometimes I would share like guided meditations that I'd found and things like that, or send them for different resources. But I love doing it, and it really helped me. And I would sneak away and go into a little break room or somewhere and meditate. And it just really helped me. I would sneak away like at a break or a lunch or between meetings and in the car. You can always find a way to find a mindful moment. And we'll talk about that more today, different practices and things we can do just about anywhere. And yeah, so I continued to do both for quite some time. And then last year, I was able to do this full time. So I'm really excited to be teaching meditation now.
Congratulations on taking that leap, that initial leap from something that was so secure and you knew what the outcome was going to be every day into business ownership and then into something where there's just so many unknowns. And that's super awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It seemed like I had it all together on the outside. I was married with two amazing sons and the big house and 90 acres and all of that stuff. And I remember thinking when I make $100,000, I'm going to feel so great. I'm going to feel so fulfilled. I will have arrived. And then I made $100,000. And then I'm like, okay, when I make 200,000, and I'm just being honest, I made 200,000. I don't want it to sound like I'm bragging. I'm just trying to help people understand that I continued to make that money. And then I thought, what about when I make 300,000? And in 2016, I was just shy of 300,000. And that was the worst year of my life because that was the year my oldest son, Trey, passed away suddenly in a car accident. Yeah, it's the times like that where you really take a look at, am I really aligning my authentic internal self with my exterior? I was not aligned. It appeared that I was doing this thing and I was doing great, but inside I did not feel fulfilled. And I knew there was something else that I was missing. That's what I help people do. I help people to really remember who they are and come home to who they are and help align the exterior with their interior. So yeah. Yeah.
I love that. And meditation is a great way to do it. And let's dive into what kind of meditation is. One of the things that I struggle with when it comes to meditating is you sit there. I do it in yoga classes. As you sit there, you get really good. And then all of a sudden, all the other thoughts start coming in. And then you're like, no, you're not supposed to be thinking of those other things. You're supposed to be. So let's talk about where does somebody start? And then where does somebody like myself I'm trying to meditate, I'm trying to do, it's the thing I need to be doing, but all the other noise starts coming in and then I feel like it's not worth it.
Those are very common concerns. And that's the number one thing I hear is I just can't shut off my mind. I can't stop my thoughts. First of all, thoughts are okay. Thoughts will always be part of your practice. And just become aware or notice when your thoughts are pulling you away from your practice, and then just gently return your focus back to, or your attention back to the focus of the meditation over and over again. We say it's like training a puppy. That's why we call it a practice, right? So I love to share 5 essentials for a successful meditation practice because I think it'll help handle some of the objections that people feel. And number 1 is it's okay to have thoughts. It's the nature of our brain to think, just as it's the nature of our eyes to see. So continuing to return your attention back to the focus. In the focus of the meditation, there are so many different meditations out there, which makes it even more fun. It could be a flame, a candle flame. It could be a color, a mantra or word, an affirmation or a breath, a sound. It could be a lot of different things, but just returning to that focus over and over again. Number 2 is be kind to yourself. Appreciate yourself for taking the time out, for time in, for attempting, for showing up for yourself. I love that. And number 3, let go of any expectations. Just be open to everything and expect nothing because every practice is different. And then number 4, don't try too hard. The only thing you need to do is just set aside the time and the space for the practice. And then finally is stick with it. So even if you start to feel antsy, continue to meditate the entire time. And if you need to move, just do so mindfully and just return back to the meditation. So we're thinking that you have to send an email. That's not really a reason to stop. So continue to meditate the entire time. I know that some of the other objections, I know me personally, is I was such a go-getter that I thought that I couldn't be competitive. I thought meditators are too chill. Like they actually irritated me. Like, how can you be so relaxed? How do you get anything done? That's what I would think. And yeah, that's what I used to believe. But I feel now more than ever, it's not really about force anymore. It's about flow. When we learn to
Okay.
flow, it's a lot lighter and easier. We're able to monotask, which we use less energy and we accomplish more. So it's just reframing the way that we've been taught and helping people just to be mindful of our words. You mentioned a couple words earlier, suppose, like I'm suppose, you're posing what you're supposed to do and be, and really paying attention to our words. And they have so much power. And say, when we say, I have to meditate, no, I get to meditate, reframing it. It's powerful stuff.
It is. And I love those 5 essential tips. So when somebody starts, you mentioned that your first one was 30 minutes. That seems very overwhelming. Unless I'm in a yoga class, if I'm just going to be at home and I'm going to meditate for 30 minutes, like that seems super overwhelming. So, is a 5-minute meditation, do we still get benefits from smaller doses? Or is there actually a sweet spot where you don't really get much until you hit 12 minutes? And then anything after that, like what's kind of those numbers there so that people who don't have a lot of time, who are busy, who feel like they can't be competitive, all those things you said, like what's the smallest dosage they can start in to be successful and to get these awesome benefits?
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because my 30-minute silent practice, my coach, she was a little tougher on me than I am my student. But it happened for a reason because I would have probably never discovered just how disconnected I was without that.
Mm.
So I just dove in 150% to the beginning. But 5 minutes a day can actually change the structures and the functions of our brain. Just 5 minutes a
Okay.
day of our practice. Yeah. And I'm going to practice one with you today if you'd like.
Yes, I would
Yes.
love that.
Yes, I would love that too. It'll be really fun. And it's just setting aside that time and space, even a mindful moment. I love to practice mindful moments. You can do those anywhere. It's just gently closing your eyes. And by closing your eyes, it signals your body that it's safe to relax. And you can do that just about anywhere, not driving, of course. And then the other thing is just our breath, focusing on our breath. 3 long, slow, deep breaths. will activate our parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest, signaling our brain that it's safe to relax. Something as simple as those two things are powerful. It can be done just about anywhere.
So, those 5 minutes a day, let's talk about some of the benefits, like just benefits by starting to do this on a regular basis. Because I think I definitely fall into the category of I go to yoga class every once in a while. It's more of a fun thing. I like to switch up my routine, but I don't do it on a regular basis. I do a gratefulness practice, but not a mindfulness practice and a meditation. But I've heard great benefits. So when somebody starts doing this on a regular basis, even for 5 minutes, what other things and benefits can they start to see in their day to day, whether they're a busy mom, a busy woman, they're a grandparent, they're in their 20s, or they're in their 60s?
I feel personally, for me, that meditation was the foundation for healing. And it helps us in so many different ways, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. If one of the things I notice the most is that you're able to be the observer. You're able to just step back and allow yourself time to respond rather than just react. You're able to have more control in your life because so many times we react and then we regret it and then we feel worse. And if we have, it's coming from the prefrontal cortex, when we have that awareness to just observe and just pause and then choose how to respond rather than allowing our amygdala or our fight or flight area of our brain to be in control. And we forget to breathe. And so many of the practices that I teach incorporate the breath. Especially for us women, we hold our breath a lot. Men do too, but it seems like women, we're always holding our breath in, we hold our stomach in, we block our throat chakra, how we're supposed to be and what we're told and programmed to believe in. It's powerful when you are become more aware of your breath, more aware of your body, more aware of your emotions. Inquiry practices help you to discover, what am I feeling? And without judgment, just being more kind to yourself and staying in the question and beginner's mind. And it helps us to be more patient with others and have more compassion. We can all use our compassion muscle to be developed a little bit more. And
We
it helps
do.
you to, at work and with our children and with loved ones. It's powerful stuff. There's so many benefits. I could list them and be here all day. Yeah.
So we've covered what meditation is. We've covered the 5 essential tips. We've covered our benefits. You mentioned there's multiple types of meditation, and I know you're going to take us through one of them today, but why are there so many different types? And are they more individual to the teacher, or are they more of universal type of meditations, if that makes sense?
It does. There are modern techniques, there are ancient techniques, and they're really designed to help calm the nervous system and to help us be more focused. I teach so many different types of meditations. I love candle gazing for 15 minutes. That's one of my favorites. I love silent meditations. I love to do it for 45 minutes to an hour even, and I feel so calm and centered the entire day. But I know it's
So,
not practical for most people to do that.
and what is candle gazing? Do you like, I'm envisioning very practical. Light a
Yeah,
candle, watch it go back and forth.
just stare at it.
Okay, so
Literally,
that's literally what it is. Okay.
yes, for
Ah.
15 minutes. And interesting things can happen, not always, but sometimes you can see a violet flame surrounding it that'll expand outward. And different meditation practices are designed to do different things. This one it's said to be able to help open your third eye, this energy center. And it's just very calming. Another type of meditation I love to teach during my retreats, whether it be a mini or a weekend, is a walking meditation. And
Ooh,
those are
I like
wonderful.
those.
Yes, really becoming aware of your body and how we are balanced during walking and how we place our feet, heel, toes. And it's just, those are fun to do, especially when you're outside in nature. It's wonderful. Also, mindful eating practices are fun too,
Mm.
where we think about all the people that were involved with getting that piece of fruit in your hand. Fascinating. And then focusing on the texture and the temperature of the fruit in this example. We've done it with chocolate before at our Galentine's event we did. It was
Mm.
fun. And just feeling it in your mouth and eating more mindfully, because we all know that we're full before we realize it. So if we
Mm-hmm.
can eat mindfully, we're just more aware of what we're putting into our body that way too. So it's research has shown that it can help with eating disorders and just helping us to be more mindful with our eating habits. Breath practices are wonderful. The long, slow, deep breaths, the different types of breathing, belly through our belly into our rib cage and chest. And that's what we're going to practice with our 5-minute meditation today. Yes.
Yay.
There's so many different types, which makes it so fun because then you don't get bored.
I love the candlelight because it's just like exactly what it is. The walking meditation, now that I think of it, I've done that one. The hard part for me on those is to really not put in my AirPods when I go outside and go for a walk or to not it's really hard to not be distracted when like I love to go out for a mental health walk. I love walking. But I also like calling a friend when I walk or listening to a podcast or whatever that is. So to disconnect from a normal routine, that's the challenging part of I want to do this. So I tend to do it more when I'm barefoot out in my yard roaming instead of an actual walk. And it's fun to be barefoot. And there's benefits to grounding ourselves, correct?
Absolutely. I love talking about grounding. There's a documentary on YouTube that's free, that's so fun. And it talks about all the
Ooh.
electromagnetic energy that comes through the earth into our bodies and helps us. And we have a lot of illnesses now that we didn't have before we started wearing rubber sole shoes. So it's fascinating
Mm.
stuff. And that's why you feel so great when you go to the beach and you're barefoot in the sand. And yeah, I love grounding. When you're walking in nature, I know what you're saying because I'm the same way. I have so many Audible books and there are just so many things that are fun to listen to, all the distractions out there. And they're wonderful things. But nature is a great distraction too.
Mm.
So when I try to be mindful, and it's a habit, it's a practice. Looking and noticing things that you haven't before, like with childlike wonder, like different flowers. I know downtown Mason right now, there are just a ton of daffodils and they're beautiful. And just really noticing them more. And your dog may stop and just really sniff it, examine it, just really look at it up close. Notice the seeds in the center. Notice things you don't usually notice.
Mm.
And that's the fun part. And then the noises, the birds singing, it's just so beautiful. And the leaves on the trees and how the veins move and just anything on the ground that's fallen. There's certain shapes of rocks. And sometimes you'll see rocks that are shaped like hearts or there's so much to see that we overlook when we're not being mindful. And yeah, I love practicing mindfulness, even when you're doing tasks that you really don't like to do as much. It makes it more fun.
Mm.
When you're washing dishes and you can notice the warmth of the water on your hands and maybe the bubbles in the sink as they form or the soap and how it feels soft. And sometimes bubbles will pop up and they're iridescent and they're different colors and things like that. Folding clothes, noticing the textures and the colors and the patterns of the fabrics. You're noticing things you don't usually notice. These things are very subtle, but they're creating new neural pathways in your brain. So by not using your earpods, or maybe use your earpods, but listen to a walking guided meditation,
Mm.
either one you find on YouTube, that's the duration you want to be meditating for, or on Insight Timer app. I love that. You can search
Ooh.
exactly what you're looking for. They have a lot of 5-minute meditations. They have all different types of meditations, and they're free. They have additional courses you can purchase if you choose, but it's a great resource that I tell a lot of people about too.
Awesome. I'll make sure to get those links and that YouTube movie you were talking about. Like
Yes.
any of those links you mentioned today, we'll make sure to put those in the show notes because YouTube is a beast in itself, just like Google. So instead of going to find it, we'll make sure we get you the links because quick apps, 5 minutes, all of those tips that people can easily access at their hands is super important. And what I'd like to do is, if you're up for it right now, to do the meditation and then after you can walk us through how to implement it. Because I think that's the other piece is we know we've got to do it. We know how to do it, but life is busy. So, after we do it, if you're up for implementing some tips that you share with clients and also ones that work for you, I would love to know, and I know others would too.
Sure. I would love that.
Awesome. So, you lead the way. I'm ready.
Okay. I designed a 5-minute script here for just for today.
Yay. And those of you who are listening, if you are able to do this while you are, do they need to be sitting or standing? Or,
Preferably seated because we'll have our eyes closed
okay,
and not
perfect.
driving.
So, if you are driving right now, or if you are out for a walk, please do not close your eyes. Just make note. I'll make sure to also add in the show notes at what timestamp we started this. So if you want to go back and just scroll directly to this meditation, you can. But if you're at home, if you're at your office right now, wherever you're consuming, take the next 5 minutes, step away from what you're doing, take a seat, and Tamara's going to lead us through a 5-minute meditation. I'm excited.
Me too. So sit comfortably with your feet flat on the floor. And gently close your eyes, or you may gaze downward a few feet in front of you if that feels more comfortable. Begin by placing one hand on your heart and one on your belly. And feel the physical connection to your body. And silently say, I am here now. Inhale deeply through your nose, filling your belly first. Continue inhaling, feeling the breath move into your rib cage. Finally, feel your upper chest expand and then exhale slowly, releasing tension from your chest, rib cage, then belly. Repeat this 3 times at your own pace. When you're finished, allow your breath to return to its natural depth and rhythm. Now scan your body for areas of tension. On each exhale, visualize releasing tightness from specific areas. Allow your jaw to relax. Relax your shoulders. Allow them to fall down away from your ears. And soften your belly and your lower back. With each exhale, mentally say, release. Release. You may return your hands to a comfortable position, however you choose. And bring to mind one truth about yourself beyond your many roles. Breathe into this quality or truth. For example, you may say, I am creative, or I am resilient, or I am enough. And let this affirmation anchor you to your whole self. Now bring to mind one simple thing you're grateful for today. It doesn't need to be profound. Perhaps the morning sunshine, a hot cup of coffee or tea, or your loved one's smile. And feel the gratitude in your body, not just your mind. And let this gratitude create a sense of abundance, even amid challenges. And take a few deeper breaths. And as our practice begins to come to a close, allow your eyes to remain closed. It's important to always come out of meditation slowly. And when you're ready, there's no rush. You may begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, welcoming some small, gentle movements. When you're ready, and only when you're ready, you may slowly begin to open your eyes, beginning with a downward gaze. And carry this centered feeling into your next activity and throughout your day.
That was great. I feel awesome.
Is it easy?
That was easier than I thought it was gonna be. Your voice and the pace, and I really liked the grateful for, and the examples were different than the things that I typically go for, as I really enjoyed that. That was awesome. I feel like I could do that on a regular basis, but when? So, like,
Mhm.
now I feel great. I really like that. I wanna start doing it on a regular basis. Typically, I tell people when they wanna create a habit, they try to pair it with something you're already doing or scheduled into your calendar. But then it all comes down to what's your priorities. So, how can somebody start to implement this into their life, maybe in ways that they haven't thought about implementing, or in times of their day where maybe it's gonna be better for them than others to try to create and start a new habit?
Yes. Yes, first thing in the morning is best and what we usually recommend. So, especially if you have a busy household, trying to get up and do this before the whole household wakens. If you have children, nap time is great, or after dropping them off at school. You can do it in the bathroom, that counts too. Funny. Before sleep, before you go to sleep, just release the day. It's really good. Ideally, what you want to build up to is 15 to 20 minutes twice a day. When you first get up,
Okay.
and then what we call happy hour in the afternoon when you start to get tired, like 3, 4 o'clock's a good time. But the 5 minutes, I used to squeeze it in. I'd go in my car and sit in the parking lot. If it's summer, put your sunglasses on. People aren't going to know. People take breaks and rests all the time, and go to a park, get
Mhm.
barefoot on your break, lunch. It's just a habit, like you mentioned, just getting yourself in the habit and looking for those opportunities. How long do we wait in line for a coffee? And
Mhm.
how much time do we spend a day scrolling through social media? It's all about priorities. And I'm
Mhm.
sure you and your listeners and myself included, our health and our mental well-being is a priority. Yeah. And what a great example for children.
Yeah. I love it. And is that a practice that as a family would be like, okay, not that meditation is unsafe, but is it okay for kids? Because I know a lot of my listeners and my busy moms, and a lot of times the only time a workout gets done is if the kids are with them. So if they're wanting to meditate as a family, is that a good habit to instill at a younger age? And
It's
would you recommend
wonderful.
it? Okay.
Absolutely. And schools are teaching it now. And they said that for every year, a minute. So that's a
Hmm.
general rule of thumb. But I do know from experience that when I meditate, children and pets are really drawn to the energy of your calm energy while meditating. So it's funny. So I would encourage them to join you. Let them sit on your lap while you meditate. And also, everyone can meditate. Most people can meditate if taught correctly. So we learn in meditation, or I teach, that sound is rarely a barrier for meditation. And I teach to welcome all sounds, near and far, as part of the practice. But you can explain, maybe you want to say, I'm going to be meditating. Do you want to meditate with me? Or then they understand that when the timer goes off, then mommy can talk to you. Things like that. And it's that you get to, not that you have to, because we have choice, but make it be a fun thing. It's your time out. It's your mommy's time out. And I love mindful practices such as the breathing. Inhale 1, exhale 2, all the way to 10. Inhale 3, and exhale 4. So you're teaching them to count all the way to 10 and making it fun.
Yeah.
And they can meditate with you also, because if you're doing a breath practice, they can put their little teddy bear on their belly and teach them about belly breathing up and down and noticing it. We're going to take them for a ride. And there are just so many different ways. And it helps them to get centered. And you're teaching the children to be aware of their body and maybe noticing a color in the room. Those are mindfulness practices, and they're fun. There's so many different ways that we can incorporate it. And I also, just by the breath, closing your eyes, taking 3 long, slow, deep breaths, just a quick mindful moment before you go into an important meeting will ground you, help you to be very centered when you get ready to go drive through 5 o'clock traffic, before and after a mindful
Yes.
moment. It's just remembering that our breath is always here for us. It's our anchor. And just remembering to go to the breath. If you're feeling super anxious or stressed, start to breathe. Allow your body to shift over into our rest and digest response. Yeah.
That's awesome. I really enjoyed that practice. And I'm excited because it's been something that's always been on my mind. And like I said, it happens every once in a while. But I'm going to be intentional leaving this episode of starting to be more consistent about it. I'm not going to commit to every day, but I'm going to commit to 3 days a week and slowly build from there. And for those of you listening, I'm going to make sure Tamara's in our Facebook group. Remember that Facebook group is a great place to go and ask for accountability, to call your shot, especially if you listen to an episode and you're like, I'm doing the thing and you want other people to celebrate you, call your shot in there. We want to support you along the way. As we kind of wrap up here today, I would love to know a few things. One, go back to how people can get in contact with you. And I know we've talked on outside of this podcast, and you've got a few other meditation practices, I believe, on your website that people can check out. So, how can people get in contact with you? Do you do online for those people who are not in the Lansing area? And then last minute or thing that people need to know when they leave today. Like that one thought that if they take anything away from today, what should it be?
Okay. So you can reach me at tamaraglenn.com. I had an amazing web developer, Ginger, who got me connected on my website, and everything I do is on there, which is wonderful. And you can access upcoming events. I also have a free guided meditation on there that I created. It's 8 minutes, and it does incorporate those 5 essentials for the successful meditation practice at the beginning. And it's a body scan meditation. So it's great for relaxing and coming home to who you truly be. I did mention I'm at the Michigan Athletic Club a couple of days a week. In closing, I would like to say that our attention is our greatest expression of love, our full undivided attention. When we're being present in our lives, we're able to fully experience it. And by practicing these different mindfulness techniques and being mindful in our daily lives, you're living life to the fullest. And my son Trey always said that. Even 5 people at his celebration of life service said that Trey always said to live life to the fullest. And so that's what I try to do each day. And I love what I do, and I love to help people, and I'm available with any questions. I love to do presentations. I love mindfulness in the workplace. The more people that we can talk about this too, it just spreads, especially groups, spread that people can help find their inner peace, because it's our birthright. And I know how much it's changed my life for the better. And I just want to be able to share that with anyone interested. Yeah. I love what you're doing. I love it,
Thank
Morgan.
you.
I love that you're bringing women together because we don't have any room for competition and comparison anymore. It's about collaboration. And Dr. Maya Angelou always says, do the best you can until you know better. And then when you know better, do better. There's more than enough abundance for everyone. I just wanted to share that I think that's important for all of us to realize. We all have our own gifts. We all have our own abilities, and we're all unique in our own way. And I love how you help us all to encourage each other, to support each other. So thank you for what you're doing. You're amazing, rock star.
Thank
And I just had to tell you that. I just love your work and what you're doing for everyone. It's amazing. And I'm grateful to be here today and grateful for you.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. It's been super amazing to connect with other amazing women who help women. And I'm so happy that we were able to connect and I was able to get you on after we'd only, I think, met once and then we talked a few other times because meditation is a really big piece. And like you said, having peace and figuring out who we are is our birthright. And I think a lot of us, specifically as women, because that's who we talk to here, is we identify as the mom, the worker, the maid. We identify as all these things. And sometimes we forget who we are and we forget how we feel and what our body does. And it's important to know how your body feels, how to fuel your body, what makes your body feel good, what doesn't make your body feel good physically, mentally, emotionally, and have the power to say no. And maybe it's meditation to create that awareness for you to be like, huh, that's not a good environment. I need to say no to this. Or, yeah, dairy really isn't good for me. I'm noticing that here as I'm meditating. Like, I need to start saying no. We all need to take a breath and tune in sometimes. And thank you so much. That meditation was great. I'm going to go check out the one on your website because I know I haven't yet, but I'm going to go check it out and I'm going to start committing to 3 days a week of at least a 5-minute meditation.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And just be kind to yourself and stick with the 5 essentials, and you got this.
Thank you so much. And for those of you who are still here listening with us, if this episode was impactful to you, please share this with somebody else in your life. You can open up your phone, push that share button. If you were not able to participate in the meditation because you were walking or you were driving or you were not in a position to sit down and close your eyes, go back, check the show notes for the timestamp, go back to that meditation piece. And finally, remember we've got summer strength training boot camp classes that are running this summer. Our last session will be on August 20th. Classes are from 5:30 to 6:15 at Acme Home Exterior. So link to sign up for that and all those details will also be in the show notes. So Tamara, thank you so much once again for being here today. And until next time, everybody, see you then. Thank you for tuning in to the Empower Her Wellness podcast. I hope you found today's episode inspiring and packed with actionable tips. Remember, your journey to becoming the strongest, most confident version of yourself is just beginning. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode and join our community of empowered women. Until next time, stay strong and stay confident.